Alright, so I thought I'd do this video and quickly cover the fact that Curtis Media has been arrested over police scene footage. So it says here that a man has been arrested over footage shot from inside of a police cordon on the day of Nicola Bulley, when she was found in a river in Lancashire. Mr. Goes on to say that he was detained on suspicion of malice, communications, and perverting the course of justice. Perverting the course of justice to me means that you are actively stopping justice being found and taken to its completion. What he did, as far as I'm aware, according to his own words, which could be wrong, he filmed outside of a cordon on the opposite side of the river. And at the time, there was another news broadcasting company there who were also filming this. However, because they're a large conglomerate and they have to set up all their expensive cameras and all of their stuff, he basically, for want of a better word, beat them to it. And unfortunately, that's kind of the way the news works. It's people who get there first. It's horrible that people profit and do this kind of stuff, but that is what happens. And he effectively got there first and filmed it and posted it. Should he do that? Morally, no. But if he is filming in a public space from the side and he is filming into a police cordon, as long as if he's not in the police cordon, he's actually not doing anything wrong as far as I'm aware. There's a large channel called DJ Audits, and what he does is he makes this abundantly clear every single time he'll go to an event, he'll go to a piece of land, a business, he will stand on public property, he will fly his drone up into the air, and he will say, I'm launching this drone from public property, and I am filming from public property, and you don't control the airspace, and I'm allowed to film this. There's nothing you can do. And each time he basically dispels their myths, and he's allowed to do it. Now, if Curtis Media has gone to a public piece of land and filmed from the side, there's a couple of things you can think, okay, morally it's wrong, but if they know he's filming, should they not have stopped him filming? Or should they have thought, we finally found Nicola Bulley, let's set up a tent, let's cover the scene, and let's make sure nobody gets this footage. Let's work inside of a tent, let's carefully remove a body. From what I'm understanding, they dragged her body up the side, basically in broad daylight, and I guess anyone that was there at the time could have gone and filmed that. Should he have gone and posted it online? No, morally, but I don't think technically he actually did anything wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me there, but I think it's a little rich considering that I believe it was maybe Channel 4, from what I'm hearing of reports, was also there, or another large news, not too sure on that one, but from what I'm reading on Twitter it does say Channel 4. And again, it says that social media users have been playing their own private detectives, they're just having fun with this, and their priority has always been to support Nicola's family. Now, the thing where this falls a little bit down for me is, if you're wanting to protect Nicola Bulley, you wouldn't really reveal the information that you revealed about menopause and about the alcohol issues if they had no relevance to the case. And I think a lot of people have interest in this, not because they're a TikTok ghoul, as the police are calling this Curtis Media. I think it's because people generally have a curiosity that something isn't quite right with the case. And I would say that their police job isn't necessarily to tell people to stop using social media, because that is the modern world we live in now. That's just how it is going to be forever and ever. Their job as police is to put out enough detail that satisfies the general public, because the general public are allowed their thoughts and opinions on cases. People have their thoughts and opinions on a variety of different missing people's cases. And actually, if you go on YouTube, I can show you this right now if you would like. If you go on YouTube and we quickly add a desktop capture here, and we go ahead and we show you my primary monitor, you will see here on YouTube that if you just want to look any of this up, there is all the time footage of people been recovered And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you're filming from a public area, rightly or wrongly, people do it all the time. News people do it all of the time, and they're saying that he was inside of a police cordon, which according to Curtis Media wasn't the case. Now, I would argue that if he did film inside of a police cordon, then why would he be let go? It seems strange that he would be on bail and let go if he did film inside a police cordon, and if he didn't, then I'm not sure why he was arrested. He was also recently pulled for his by police for his car number plates, but I think that was more of a checking up on him, to be completely honest. I'm not trying to act like a Curtis Media defender here, but I do think it's an interesting topic, because effectively he's kind of been singled out here, and he's kind of been labelled as a TikTok ghoul. They put his details out there, and I think that the main reason why people are interested in the case is because some things don't seem right with the case, and again, I believe it's up to the police to put this right, and people will always go to these kind of places. I mean, if you're trying to protect Nicola Bulley and help stop justice being bring justice and help avoid the sort of, how do I word it, the prevention of justice, then you should have put up a cordon around the scene and told everybody for the 3 weeks, you can't go to this area of the field. It's not like it was the centre of London and it would have just been impossible to shut off. It's a tiny field in Lancashire. It's not like it's needed for the world and the transport and all of this. They could have easily shut that area off and just said, if anybody goes near this area, you've been arrested. But they let it become this crazy scene where you saw people from Sky News walk in the scene. There was no need for that. There was no need for Sky News to walk around the field and do a play-by-play, basically, reenactment. All that did was raise speculation, because when they walked around the field, there was this moment around like 9:10 where there was this, basically, I'm not going to say discrepancy in the timeline, but effectively they were trying to get to the bench at 9:20. They were walking at her pace, and there was a lot of time that went on. And as there was a lot of time, they kind of thought, well, we're going to get to the bench too quickly, so we'll linger and wait around. When they were lingering and waiting around, they bumped into the man that found the phone. And I mean, you could speculate that that person that walks around regularly, he just happened to also once again be walking around regularly. Was it a case of he knew Sky News was there and wanted to have an interview? Was it a case of he walks there every single day? And is it a case of, if Nicola Bulley was walking there, rather than her pausing and waiting for 10 minutes to get to the bench, which the lady in red, I forget her name, she works for Sky, basically said, oh, we've got 10 minutes to kill, I wonder what Nicola Bulley did, which again is aiding speculation. It's giving fuel to the fire of the TikTok ghouls, so to speak, right? So she's throwing fuel on the fire by saying, oh, the timelines don't match, I wonder what she was doing. Well, we don't know, do we? Maybe that guy walks his dog every single day and he did in fact bump into her. Maybe he didn't. We don't know, do we? Nobody really knows what went on. And let me tell you, if unfortunately Nicola Bulley had just fallen into the river, or she'd like unfortunately taken her own life, people wouldn't be up at the scene. They'd just be saying, what a tragic accident, or isn't it tragic about mental health that she felt the need to do this? They wouldn't be TikToking and vlogging around the scene going, oh, this is where she tripped in. They're obviously going around this area because the public aren't happy, and it's the police's job to quell that and squash that and make them more comfortable with the situation, because they do have a duty of care for the public as well as the people they're investigating and stuff like that. So they do need to provide some more information, because there's some very misleading information out there. I don't know too much about the case, but it was only yesterday that I did read some stuff, and I watched an early video of one of the police officers that said, we don't know how Nicola Bulley got to the field, which is strange because we know she got there in a car. Now, it could have been that the police officer misspoke. It's an intense case, and it's very easy to misspeak in a situation like that. But there's loads of these things that are confusing people, and that's why they go into the scene. So I think people would like some clarification, I guess, on what's gone on. Now, you can argue they don't need that clarification. It's not their job to be made to feel right about the situation. All that really matters is that Nicola Bulley has been found and their family can try and move on, and their main priority is with the family. I agree. But again, I think it's a little bit too late. You could even argue, what good is it arresting Curtis Media now? She's unfortunately already had the incident. She's passed away. She's been recovered. And he wasn't stopping it. He didn't pervert the cause of justice, through what I can read. Again, someone says here on Twitter, Darren Bailey says, why didn't they arrest him when he was taking the footage? Channel 4 was apparently 50 yards alongside him with far superior cameras. Were they arrested? You could argue, well, they're journalists, they're allowed to do that. But you can also be a public journalist. You can also be a small journalist. You're allowed to do that. You don't have to be registered with anyone. You can become a citizen journalist, I should say. It's just basically public citizens that play an active role in the process of collecting and reporting news and information. Kind of like a civic journalist, I guess. It's like a link between journalists and sort of the media, and you're trying to like rebuild trust in journalism by being a public independent journalist. So maybe, he's doing that, and in that case he can release his footage if he legally got it. Morally, that's an entirely different story, but it's just a bit interesting because I think the overarching theme here isn't so much that this bloke is some TikTok ghoul that's been a complete idiot around the scene. I think people genuinely are a little bit confused with everything that went on, because if you sit down and you look at everything and you look at timelines and you look at interviews and you look at pictures, I mean, I only learnt yesterday, and I don't know if you know this, that apparently there's two lines of thought. The picture of Nicola Bulley that was released, the only picture of the day, wasn't a picture from the day, and then there is also a line of thought that picture was from the day. There's a picture of that she says she was putting the kids in the car, and that it was a Ring doorbell. Well, we know it was a Ring doorbell. You probably walk in and out of your house a few times. Why is it pictures and not video? Ring doorbell takes video. You could go on and on about the case if you were to sit and dig into it. But again, I think it's that people are confused about the case. People are wanting to know more, not through this morbid curiosity, not through this, I want to be a TikTok ghoul, or I want to be I want to be a nuisance to the family and all of this. I think people just are genuinely curious what the hell happened, basically. The same way people to this day are still, they're making Madeleine McCann documentaries. There'll be people go into that apartment where Madeleine McCann went missing and filming it and all of this stuff. It will be going on. And I guess the only thing I can say is what they should have done is just shut the whole area off, cordon the whole area off, and put out a message that if you go around the scene until she's found, you'll be arrested. Then fair play. But when you're opening up the scene and you've got Sky News walking around and you've got all this going on, it seems bizarre that now, after she's been found, they're trying to clamp down on it all. So I don't know. From my perspective, I think the reason YouTubers are making videos, TikTokers are making videos and stuff, is because they're genuinely confused. I don't think they're trying to do anything malice with any malice intent or anything like that. I just believe they're genuinely confused about the timeline of events. And I think if you were to pull 50 people into a room and ask them, could you give me a rough idea of what happened, all 50 people would give different information, and that's where something's gone wrong. So maybe to stop all of this nonsense, the police could just come out with a statement of every single thing. This was a picture of her on the day. This was who we interviewed. These were the witnesses. This is where they saw her. This is where the witness left. This is where the witness returned. This is the route they took, and add all that up, put it out there and say, let's move on now. But yeah, it seemed like he's been arrested, so he's probably not going to make many more videos, is he? So, you know, what does that... I guess the argument is, what does that spell, or what's the trickle-down effect, and what's the precedent that's been set? Well, it's kind of that they're kind of saying it doesn't really matter if you're unhappy with events, and it doesn't really matter if you're filming on public land. You're not allowed to do that, which is a bit of a dangerous precedent, because they also want the public's help, don't they? And the public these days isn't the same public from the 1920s. The public now have access to a ton of tools, the internet, cameras, and that is what the public is. So if you ask for the public's help, this is what is going to happen. Unfortunately, it comes with good points and bad points, but let's just say, you know, because when I've seen a couple of his videos, he's walked along the riverbank and he's seen shoes and handkerchiefs and tissues and all of this spread around, and I think he even found a glove at one point. Now, they don't have anything to do with the case, but you would imagine that the entire area has been swept, so it's surprising that those things are still there. So these kind of citizen journalists give you an insight as to what has been done or hasn't been done, and I think they do a good job, because obviously you can't get all the information from the police that you want because it's limited, so the public can do it. And what would you do if suddenly in one of Curtis's videos you found when you went back through the footage, you found something odd and it led to something else? Maybe it doesn't solve a Nicola Bulley case. Maybe in the future it solves a different case. Are you to say that, well, we're going to have to delete all the videos and delete all the speculation because you can't do that? Well, then you've got to take down Sky News, haven't you, as well? Because, like I say, Sky News really invited some speculation, and we know that for a fact because in the husband's statement, I think he even... I don't know who else he named, but I know he directly named Sky and basically said, you've really not helped here, so, you know... Are we, you know, what's more? I guess my final point or argument or, you know, discussion topic would be, what is more dangerous, a single man doing public videos on public land, giving his thoughts and opinions, or the fact that the media that is on television and is promoted through our country handled it so badly that the family of someone that was in a case like this had to come out and basically tell them off? Are there any repercussions for Sky there? I've not heard of anything. I haven't heard Sky issue a massive apology. I haven't seen Sky delete their videos or say we're going to do everything differently next time, and that's the bigger problem, isn't it? Not some dude walking around the field. The bigger problem is, why are the press allowed to act the way they are? So, yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm surprised to hear he was arrested, and also I'm not surprised. So let me know what you think. I don't normally post videos like this to my main channel. I just can't remember the blooming password for my second channel. So if you're interested in these kind of videos, head over to my second channel and subscribe. It's a new channel. It's called The Zone. I don't even think it appears in the YouTube search because it's so small that it's not found. But if you want to see alternative content from me, then do check that out. It's mainly sports videos and chats, but yeah.